Welcome back to Box Office Maniacs, and here is the review everybody's been waiting for. Especially me, because this is the end of The Mist, finally! Or at least Season 1 End of The Mist. I made it through all 10 episodes, and if you also made it through all 10 episodes, congratulations, because you really deserve it. And for those who have not made it through all 10 episodes, and you are watching the show to find out what happened, oh man, are you in for a big surprise. The season finale wasn't that great. I know, shocking, but holy cow. There was some really good scenes in this, though. I mean, I'm going to admit it. I mean, there was some really good stuff in this, and they did surprise me. I didn't think it was possible for this show to actually surprise me at all, but they did pull something out of their butt right at the end of this, and I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't see that one coming. And I'll get to that towards the end of the review. But let's start at the beginning of this mess. First of all, this episode was actually moved pretty quick. I mean, it wasn't a terrible episode. There's been a lot worse episodes than this one. But it was pretty action-packed, this one, and it moved at a good pace, so it wasn't as boring as some of the other episodes. Still, there was a lot of problems. Alright, so everybody gathers together at the mall. So last week, they're all together, and you're ready for this huge climax. You're ready for Owl Book writer dad guy to come and beat up the psycho kid who raped his daughter, who left him behind because he thinks he killed him. And he's at the mall, so he was heading towards the mall to get there, and they all converged at the mall. So after 10 episodes, they're all in one place finally. And you're thinking, oh man, this is it. It's going to blow. It's going to blow up. So what really happened was the cop and the old woman is there. The old woman who's obsessed with her own religion, and the cop who sort of got like weirdly hypnotized by her. They end up at the mall too. So they're all at the mall, and like I said, the Owl Book writing guy, he's there. He showed up, the drug addict was there, and that military guy, they're all there now. They all converged into one place that is run by the mall cop, or the president of the mall, the guy who eats his ding-dongs in secret up in his office. Yes, that's the show. If you haven't paid any attention in any of these other reviews, that's the show I'm talking about. That is The Mist. Alright, so they're all converging, and the one storyline of the guy finding out that this other guy ended up raping his daughter, that's really the only interesting thing that I was looking forward to see what would happen, the confrontation between these two. And it really didn't disappoint too much, I guess. So let's get to there first. Basically, there's a Home Depot or a Lowe's in this mall, which where you live, they might have one of those, but I've never been to a mall before that they have aisles of paint cans and gardening tools and all this stuff. Whatever mall they're in, it's a very bizarre mall because I've never been to a mall that had a Home Depot inside of it. Eventually he walks, whatever reason, the guy goes into that part of the mall, and there he is. There's Adrian, there's Psycho Kid, the one who raped his daughter, who left him for dead, who thought he was dead, and he went after him. And it was a really good scene. I mean, it wasn't that disappointing. He beat the crap out of him. And didn't kill him, which was a little bit disappointing. I figured he would probably kill him, but no, he just beat him completely half to death. And then until he told him where his daughter is and his wife is and all these people. And then you have the other scene that's going on between, the military guy who met this other military guy, and the other military guy knows the first military guy, but he don't tell him who he is. He's like, who am I? You gotta tell me who am I. Because the guy that's been in through the whole show, the guy who got shot in the leg, he was tied to a chair, and he meets this other guy in the mall who obviously knows who he is, and they're all from Arrowhead, apparently, but the other guy don't remember, and he's like, well, I'm not going to tell you who you are, because I don't know, because the writers don't know, so I'm not going to say anything right now. But we're going to figure it out next season. Basically, that's what he was saying. So he ends up saying, oh, well, if you know who I am and I am your superior, you're going to untie me from this chair. So the guy ends up untying him from the chair, and he's like, oh, well, you're from the Arrowhead Project, and this is what happened, but I can't tell you what really happened because you need to go to the Arrowhead facility yourself, and we'll talk to the doctor or whoever that is, and all this stuff that's going to come next season, if there is a next season. So then nothing really happened with that sequence too much. I mean, that was pretty much the end of that, and they didn't really focus on that too much. This episode mostly focused on the family getting back together, getting Psycho Kid beaten up, and the old crazy religious woman and the cop. So she convinced the cop, or he convinced himself, that his son, the jock, was the one who raped the daughter. He finally confronts his son, and everybody in the mall is there, and he's like, well, you're going out in the mist, buddy. Bye. So he's like, takes his son, and he pushes him out the door, out the front door. He's like, whoop, shoot, out the front door. So he runs off into the mist. He's like, yep, bye. You know, you raped this person. I know you did it. I'm a bad dad, and now I'm pushing you out in the mist. Bye. So then he has all this emotional breakdown and starts crying and all this stupid stuff with the old woman. Say, oh, I did it. He was a bad kid, and I got rid of him, and it was just like, yeah, whatever. So then Al book writing dad guy, that's a lot to say for this guy. I need to shorten his title a bit. He ends up finding his daughter and his wife, and then once the kid is already out in the mist and he's gone, the dad tells the mother finally that the jock didn't rape the daughter, and she's like, oh, you know, okay. And this is what was a surprise. This was what I did not see coming, and this is kind of a shock to me. And they did a good job. I mean, I'll admit when they do a good job on the show, and I will admit how terrible the show is. And this is the one sequence that, oh, okay, now it somewhat makes sense. This whole terrible plot line comes together in this one moment, and that is the cop, you know, who pushed his son out into the mist, comes walking out, and she's like, he's the dad. The jock was her half-brother. She had the daughter with the cop, and then the cop had the son with somebody else, so it was her half-brother. So she kept thinking that her half-brother raped her, and that's why she was so freaked out in the whole show, and she didn't want to tell anybody about it because she was embarrassed that she had sex with the cop. And my wife actually came up with an interesting subplot here, was if she was a town slut and she was sleeping around everywhere, how did she even know that he's the father? He could have been, I mean, anyone could have been the father. She slept around to everybody in the neighborhood, but she, I guess, somehow figured out that the cop was her biological dad. So, I mean, okay, that was a good plot. I mean, okay, I'll give it to him. It was a decent plot twist. I didn't see that one coming. And then I'm like, oh, okay, she almost had sex with her brother. There was almost a Star Wars moment there. So that was a decent plot twist. I mean, yeah, it was all right. So then, of course, when the cop finds out that he pushed his son out the door for no reason whatsoever, he starts freaking out. And then comes the best line in the entire series. The whole entire series, there's somebody, and they didn't even show her. She's off on the side of the screen, and I hope she got paid for her one line, and this is it. Oh, now what? Is what she says. And it's just the best line ever. And it's like, exactly, lady, that's what I'm talking about. Now what? Oh, you know, that's when he comes running in. The Owl book writing guy comes in and meets his wife for the first time. It's just, I was laughing so hard. And you may have not even caught it if you were watching this show, because you can barely hear it, but oh my God, it was funny. I was really cracking up at that line. That was just great. Best line in the whole series. I totally agree with you, woman. So after that, there's a big scuffle, and they want the whole family out of the mall now because they think that they're all crazy, and they want to push Owl book writing guy and his wife and his kid, and they want to push them all out of the mall. So Ding Dong guy, the president of the mall, ends up with a gun, and he's telling them, all right, you guys are leaving. Bye. You're not disrupting my people in here. You're leaving. You're going out into the mist. So you're taking off. You're getting out. So they end up pushing him out into the mist. So Owl book writing dad, town slut, her daughter, and I believe the cop got pushed out as well. Or he went out on his own. I don't remember. I think he went out too. And they all went out into the mist. So they're all stuck out there. The girl gets lost. The daughter gets lost. And here comes, I was going to say a tentacle, but it's not a tentacle. It's a mist tentacle. It's about the closest you're going to get, I guess. And she's standing there in the mist, and this tentacle, this misty mist goes around her and goes into her mouth, and it's like suffocating her, and it's killing her, and they can't find her. Like, oh, she's gone. We can't find her in the mist, and they're yelling for her, looking for her. And here comes her half-brother to save the day, and he pulls her out of the mist, and then whatever was happening to her happens to him, and he falls dead, and he saves her life. And of course, here comes Gamer Guy, because he drives up in the truck. And this is another thing in the show. Earlier in the show, that there was only one car that was working in the entire town. Now apparently all the cars work, because they can just get in a car and take off, and it's fine. But, you know, who cares about plot? So the car drives up, and they all jump in the car. And they're like, okay, so, you know, they're all together finally. All the people are in the mall. They're like, ha ha, you know, we won. You guys are out in the mist, and goodbye. And then comes probably my favorite part of the whole show. The whole season, this is one of my favorite parts. This was this was cool. I'm going to, again, admit when it's cool. And this was a great scene where Al Book writing guys like, you know what? Screw y'all. And he took the car and he backed it up into the mall. He went right through the mall doors, broke open the mall doors, and let all the mist in and killed everybody. And that was like, oh man, finally, all these ignoring people in the whole mall are now dead. Thank God they did something smart finally. And then we had some crazy sequence with the old crazy woman, the old religious crazy woman. Her husband shows up again, and he's holding a baby. I think she might have had a kid at some point. I think she mentioned that in one of the episodes. So she has like this newborn, and she starts breastfeeding him. It like sucks all the life out of her, or the mist does. So she ends up dying while she's breastfeeding a kid. And I was like, well, that's a good ending for her, I guess, because it makes no sense. Her entire plot line didn't make sense. She didn't make any sense. So that's a good way to end that, not making any sense. Or at least it didn't make any sense to me. And if it did make sense, I don't care, because it still didn't make sense. Because it was dumb. The really annoying guard, I could not stand him or his acting. And he got killed by snakes. The snakes covered this guy and it killed him. And that was the end of that guy. And then finally the president of the mall, Ding Dong guy, he was upstairs. I'm surprised he wasn't shoving his face full of Twinkies or Ding Dongs. But he was upstairs at his desk, and eventually I'm supposing he got killed as well. So that was a really satisfying end to all those annoying people that I couldn't stand throughout the entire series. So now we have everybody in the car, almost like the end of the mist. I was getting excited. I was really thinking, they're going to do it. They're actually going to do something awesome here. They're going to drive off. They're going to use their entire budget they did not use through the entire season. And all these creatures are going to start showing up, and they're going to drive up, and they're going to see all these monsters out in the mist. Or their car is going to get attacked by these creatures. They're going to jump all over the car, and they're going to start getting attacked by these monsters. And that's going to be the end of the show, and then the season finale. And I'll be like, yeah, that is awesome. And we can't wait till it happens next season. No. No, nothing like that happened here. Don't get excited. Calm down for a minute. What really happened here was they're driving off, and then they stop. They see something, and it's a train going by, and they're like, "Oh, it's a train. Maybe we can jump on this train and ride it out of town, because why not? You know, because nothing else makes sense. Just get on this train and take off." So the train goes by, and they get to the train depot. And they're sitting there, watching the train, and I'm still not giving up hope. I'm like, oh, something's really cool. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be great. This is going to be really cool. So the train pulls up and sits there for a minute. I'm like, okay, what are they doing here? And then the train car doors open, and all these people start piling out. And it's like military people pushing these people out, and they're like, oh, they're all running out, and they're all over like 100 people are outside the train now. They just pushed off the train. And then they're like, the guys in the car is like, they're feeding them to the mist. The end. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's the way they're going to end this show. That the military is feeding people to the mist so the mist can eat these people. I mean, oh man, just terrible. I mean, what a horrible ending to this bad show. And I thought they were really going to end it on a high note. But nope, they're just feeding people to the mist, and that's it. The end. Oh, just stupid. Just absolutely terrible. They could have ended it with some kind of creature, some kind of monsters. No, they're feeding them to the mist. The mist is an entity, a eating entity that's consuming people for whatever reason, and they got to feed people to consume the mist. Whatever. I mean, just whatever. But in all, it wasn't a terrible season finale. I mean, I've seen worse season finales, at least one. And there was some good scenes, like the reveal of the half-brother and him backing up into the mall. Those were great. I really enjoyed those. They were a lot of fun watching all these people get eaten by the mist because they're feeding the mist. He fed the mist in the mall. The Mist was hungry. He had to open the door up to feed the Mist. And the Mist ate everybody in the mall. There you go. There is episode 10, the season finale of The Mist. And I made it. I made it through the whole season, and I hope you guys made it or tried to make it as well. It's one of those shows that, again, it's so bad, it's funny, and the acting is so bad, it's really funny to watch. And there was a couple of twists and turns throughout the 10 episodes. Not many, maybe like 3. But it was, I don't know, it was not obviously The Mist at all whatsoever. It was not the book. And I kept giving up hope that maybe they're going to do something. No, they never did. And somebody left a comment that maybe they could reboot this next season and make it the actual book. And that's kind of what I was hoping they were going to do. I was hoping really that they were going to kill off all the characters and then just kind of restart it next season. Oh, the one thing I left out was the two military guys were driving off to Arrowhead, and Psycho Kid was in the back of the car. I forgot about that. That was another big reveal. Not really, but it's kind of stupid. How he got in the car, how he knew they were going to Arrowhead, who cares? Doesn't really matter. But the one thing is, if they're going to Arrowhead, I'm thinking maybe there's something going on there at the factory. Maybe there's something going on in this military complex. Maybe more monsters. Some monsters might show up in the second season. There's always hope. There's always hope, unless it's The Mist. And then you probably don't have much hope. I was somewhat entertained with this episode, and it was better than some of the other episodes they've had all season. So if you enjoyed this review, make sure you check out the rest of the stuff on my channel, because I am also reviewing Mr. Mercedes, the new Stephen King show, which is not The Mist. It's so much better. It's fun to really kind of review something that don't suck, you know, for once. So come October, we are actually going to be doing horror movies all month in October, and I do have Mist plans prepared for October. So The Mist is not over completely. There are going to be some more Mist stuff come October, so hopefully you guys come back for that and watch it. So all of you guys have been so awesome during these 10 episodes, and I cannot thank you enough for watching this. And all the comments have been so entertaining, and you guys have been so great. And I want to thank every single one of you for watching all these episodes. Hopefully everybody sticks around for all of our other stuff we have on this channel, because we work really, really hard every day to bring you all the stuff that we're doing here. So until next time, or next season, if you come around next season, if there is a next season for The Mist, I will be back reviewing that season. Good, bad, or probably really bad, or really, really worse, I'll be back reviewing that season. So until next time, hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. We will be back soon and with more reviews. And again, you guys have been great. You've been awesome, and I cannot thank you enough.